My hands are trembling as I write this. I'm hiding in my towel closet. I called the cops, but I don't think they're going to be here in time. I mean, who takes calls on Christmas Eve seriously? They probably think I'm some teenager, prank calling them since I got nothing better to do than take away time from someone's Christmas. Who in their right mind would believe what I'm about to say anyway? Let me back things up and set the scene for you. I live alone, 2 states away from family. I feel terrible for not being able to visit them this year. I've been having financial struggles as of recent. Paying off student loans is no joke. This is the first time I've been able to live on my own. I'm renting a cabin in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, Wisconsin. All that's around is a convenience store and a bar. And the place is nice and the rent is cheap, so who am I to complain? 1 bed, 1 bath, and a cramped kitchen that's right behind the living room. The living room's got a nice fireplace too. Keeps the house warm through the night. So, now that you've got the picture, I need to share my experience, no matter how few people see it. I didn't have big plans for the holidays. Stay at home, watch some TV, eat a frozen pizza if I was lucky. No big fancy dinner, no visitors, just an average night. That's just what happened. I kicked back on the couch with a pizza in hand and watched Christmas movies until my eyes grew heavy. I was awakened by a knock at my door at around 11:45. It's dark and snowy outside, per usual this time of year. I don't get visitors, nor could I see who it was, so I looked out the small window in the living room. Frost cloaked the glass, making it a challenge to see who was waiting for my answer. I could make out a human-like figure. My gut was telling me to stay the hell away from what was at my door before I even got a chance to move. The snow was falling so heavily, it was hard to see anything beyond 6 feet of my house. I trusted my gut though, and moved to my room. I began to think I was a bad person for leaving whoever was out there in that icy mess. Just as the thought entered my mind, the knocking grew louder. I covered my ears in response to the noise beyond my door. I faced away, and it only got worse. I was right to trust my gut. I shouldn't open the door. I can't let this go on. I exhaled deeply and threw my legs over the bed as I reluctantly shuffled over to my door. I twisted the knob and peeked outside. The cold weather nipped at my face as a reply. "Hello?" I peered through the crack. "Hi," the person started. I began to make out facial characteristics and realised it was a young woman. "My car broke down, and this seemed like a good place to seek shelter." This was a red flag to me. There's a convenience store and a bar within a mile of each other. Why show up at a random house for help? Now, I consider myself a nice guy, but the holidays don't make me a giving person. I don't like my sleep being interrupted either. I started. I wasn't sure how to respond. Her behaviour was off, to say the least. She was glancing over her shoulder, as if she could see anything through the darkness and snow. "I can give you a number for a towing company. There should be an inn at least a few miles from here. The towing company can take you." She didn't seem satisfied. "Are you sure?" she inquired. "It's awfully cold out here, and I don't know how long it'll take them to get here." She began to look more paranoid, her eyes darting from side to side, up and down. It was really freaking me out. "Listen, hon, my house is a wreck, and it's the middle of the night. I'm sorry, I know it's the holidays, but I have a thing about letting strangers into my house." I immediately regretted saying those words, as her fear turned to anger. At this point, she became hysterical. She kicked, punched, and beat my door, trying to force herself in. Her polite words were now screams. "Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in!" The Jane Doe at my door pounded harder and harder. It seemed like my door was about to break. What the hell are you supposed to do in this situation? So, in the spur of the moment, I just locked the door. The knob rattled violently, then stopped abruptly. I picked up my phone and alerted the authorities that there was a manic woman outside my house. At this point, I figured she'd given up and left. I sat down in front of the TV and tried to enjoy the rest of the night. I pondered why she was so upset. No family? Trauma? None of my theories added up. Just as my thinking had concluded, and I began to relax, I heard a faint sound. A sound that was so quiet, but seemed so loud. It was the shuffling of snow right outside my window. I pulled my blinds back and peeked outside. The dim light from the street lamps shone onto my white lawn. The woman was making a circle in the snow. I squinted, trying not to reveal my presence. My eyes began to adjust to the darkness outside. It was now 1 a.m. There were symbols I couldn't recognize, and a large pentagram in the center. When she finished her artwork, she looked right at me. She was staring right into my soul. Her gaze sent chills down my spine. Her mouth opened at inhuman angles. And then, a scream was released. I fell back into the couch. What the fuck do I do? I called the cops for a second time. Writing this, I'll be censoring my address for my own security. Here's how that phone call went. "I need police. Please come quick."
"Sir, we already have the sheriff and backup on their way. They should be there within the hour. Lock your doors."
I heard a click on the other end. What am I supposed to do now? I'm alone in this house, which seems much more ominous than the night before. There's some psycho lady standing in my yard in the middle of the night. To top it off, the cops that should be arresting this woman are probably out for drinks. I let out an audible sigh and sat on the floor with my back to the couch. This was not what I thought of as an ideal Christmas. I figured I might as well freshen up and get ready for bed. Any sliver of hope left in me was gone. Picked myself up off the floor and made my way to the bathroom. I couldn't risk her seeing me, so I just used the dim flashlight on my phone. I brushed my teeth and rinsed my face. Thought that might make me feel better, more alert. I was wrong. Once I'd finished, I heard a knock at the door, followed by a scream. It was deep, unlike the shrieks previously heard from the girl. Something in me clicked. I mustered the strength to peek outside. There were blue and red lights flashing, signalling help had arrived. But something was wrong. The lights from the car further illuminated my lawn. There were 2 mangled bodies left inside of what I can only describe as the altar. Remnants of black uniforms informed me of who they were. Another guttural howl was heard. This time, only a few feet away from my window. I did the only thing I could think of, and that was to hide. This brings me to the now. I'm in my towel closet. There are 2 dead bodies in the snow, and something outside of my house. Something not human. I don't know when she, or it, whatever the fuck you want to call it, will get inside. But my gut is saying that she will. I couldn't have picked a worse spot to hide. I feel like the idiot friend in the horror movie that gets plucked off first. Please, if you're reading this, protect yourself this holiday season. Don't let it know you're there. Don't be like me. Please, save yourself and your family. I just heard something coming down the chimney. And it's not Santa. She's inside.